All right, one more time, let's talk about why America hates Harvard and wants to make it very costly for Harvard to keep hating America. All right, as in tax-free with unbelievable federal, state, and local money going to Harvard. And it's not just Harvard. It's a lot of these big fancy schools, too. Let's bring in Grover Norquist, president of Americans for Tax Reform. Grover, I'm not a taxer. You're not a taxer. But I don't want them to have a zero tax rate. They're running a hedge fund in the middle of this thing. Meanwhile, pursuing anti-Semitism, plagiarism, cover-ups of both anti-Semitism and plagiarism, and Lord knows what, DEI and other crazy woke policies. Grover, there's got to be a change here someplace. Help me out.
There is, and we could go in one of two directions. One is they get hundreds of millions, billions of dollars, the major colleges, Harvard, Yale, state universities, from the federal government. We should take a look at that and say, you know, if you're sitting on a pile of cash the way you are, and or you're spending it doing crazy left-wing things or promoting anti-Semitism, you know what? We're going to pull that back. That number is going to get smaller. Maybe zero, but it should get to smaller. The other thought is we do actually have a tax on the increase in the value of very large endowments that was put in for the Trump tax cut. It was one of the pay-fors for the Job Creation Act that Trump put together. We could revisit that because when we extend the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, when we extend that out, we're going to need some pay-fors to make sure we can continue that into the future using reconciliation, and perhaps we could revisit the tax that was put in the first time. I would hate to raise a tax even on universities and give Washington more money. We're just transferring one left-wing funding source into another.
Was that the 1.4% tax? I think it was.
Yeah. I thought it was 1.3, but roughly 1.3, 1.4.
And the other side of the coin, because, again, you and I don't want to raise taxes, but let's have some spending cuts. This money going to the Harvards of the world, which, by the way, doesn't need it and sure doesn't deserve it the way they're behaving with all these left-wing social policies. Let's stop that spending. Let's put a foot down and stop it. Let's go right after it and watch them. If Harvard wants to hate America, we should make it costly for Harvard to hate America. Right now, it's a free lunch. I got to get out. What do you think? You buy it,
There's
Grover?
an awful lot of money to be saved.
Yes, sir. There you go. All right. More to be revealed. Maybe you'll come on the radio, talk to me more about this later on.